Hi everyone, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. My name is Veroosh. I'm the creator of Pick a Card, and I was the first one to really proliferate it on YouTube, and I'm glad that I can bring it for you again today. We are going to take a look at what's about to change. During the time right now, we have a massive set of planets or transits that are affecting us towards change, and it's a beautiful time of change. A lot of people are trying to make sense of it in terms of how to navigate it, how to position themselves, and how to approach thinking about things. So I was hoping to bring you guys some insight about that to see if that will help you in any way in your transformation. However, it is a timeless reading, so even if you're watching in 2025, here, I'll keep my hand here so you can see me, 2025, you'll be still relevant. So it's a timeless reading for whenever you watch. We have number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. You can kind of put a number in your mind. I choose number 3 every time. It's just my go-to, so if you want to be on board with me, then please do so. I heard somebody comment that choosing the same number every single time is off. I think that that's a limited understanding of how intuition works. If you're an open channel and if you are welcoming or open to the number 3 choice, then I think that that is your path, and that is fine. I think that that shows a very limited understanding of how intuition works and how we are supposed to approach things. But without getting too much into that, let's talk about the change that is coming into our lives and to get a greater understanding. I've been kind of keeping a low profile. I know you guys have been seeing me a lot on YouTube, but I've actually been keeping kind of a low profile because I've made some significant changes over the last little while, which is a part of a healing process that has a timeline of about 5 years, in which I am on the outset of some major healing in my life that has to do with some social conditioning, social factors, and oppression that I experienced in my life that actually brought me into YouTube to create content for you guys. So I feel like this is probably the reading that is most screaming at me to do for you. I know some people don't like long intros, but I want to really share with you what the methodology of it is or where it's coming from. And I've also seen a lot of people try to make sense of it. They say things like, oh, you know, you have to do this to stay safe right now, or you should really emphasize that. And I feel like this is just people trying to make sense of changes and having a way to express what's going on. And so as much as those videos are helpful, as much as those suggestions are helpful for people, always make sure that you approach things from a critical perspective in the sense of making sure that whatever you are practicing or adopting into your practice is right for you. There's also quite a bit of there's judgment being passed in order to secure success for themselves, or in order to secure some kind of stability. Think of an anchor in the Lenormand cards. People are saying it has to be this way, or the highway. Just like choosing number 3 as the option is not a good enough choice. It's somebody trying to grip or grapple with the idea that there has to be some one kind of approach, and in fact there isn't. In fact, there are many approaches, and whatever approach there is, it's right for you. And we're all navigating our lives vis-a-vis a larger social context. I also saw some comments, disparaging comments against an ethnicity. I'm not going to say which one or what the comments were, but it was the saying that people from this ethnicity are all this way and they express certain core values that are weak and whatnot, and I don't know why they react this way. And so when I heard those comments, all I thought to myself was, what a limited understanding of these people's interaction within their social frameworks, which is actually the thing that is producing those types of behaviors. So it's not about being disempowered versus being empowered in the face of change. It's about really paying attention and really understanding the thing that brings us closer into who we are, and having tolerance for our expression of ourselves, whoever we are. So here is a little card. We have the Anchor card. This is my Zen Lenormand deck. And so in this card, what we see is the anchor, and that's kind of the idea of everybody's trying to anchor down on something. And I think that if you are in some way really preoccupied with anchoring down your energy, you may find that it's somewhat something that you will have to adjust from at a later point in time. So fluidity, being in the flow, accepting life as it is given, and interacting with all sorts of circumstances without kind of finger pointing, or without trying to confiscate or appropriate things from other people and other situations in order to kind of puff oneself up and try to prove one's merit is definitely something that will produce less karmic vibrations, less flow, less impact peripherally on others. In environmentalism, there is the concept of having a gentle footprint. So not necessarily making choices that are environmentally friendly, that don't have a huge impact on the world around us. You can also think of this as having a spiritual footprint or an emotional footprint on our social life. And that includes being mindful of other people, not trying to railroad them, not try to harass them, not try to manipulate or overrun their opinions with your own. Okay, so and that includes yourself. Expressing that towards yourself is probably the most important thing you can do. Okay, so that's a little bit of a explanation or intro into what this is. Most of my pick a card readings don't have so much detail, but I think this is special. So maybe you have already chosen one. I chose number 3. Let me know if you're in with me. Let's take a look at our first set of cards. I'll do these last because they are oracle cards. So just to clarify. So your first card, if you chose number 1, and feel free to use the time caps in the bottom. So your first card is the 6 of Cups. So what is happening in terms of change? There's definitely a close attachment that you have towards some type of core belief about who you are and what nature of the relationship is between yourself and the people around you. There's also a sense that maybe there is a little bit of a longing, or a longing for the time that was, or a time that could be, including kind of feeling as though you have been kept separate from some type of reality. So this is making me think of a white picket fence type of scenario, that as a little child you wanted a nuclear family with a very kind of traditional family, traditional home, traditional people around you. And so since then you have been suffering because you feel yourself so separate from that feeling, right? You feel yourself so separate from the feeling of being one with someone else in a specific way. And so I feel as though part of what's changing is your understanding of what that is, including expectations you place on yourself. And I feel as though also the 3 of Swords, feeling as though you had in some way always been kept from having the thing that you want, from having the relationship you want, and the 3 of Pentacles. And so constantly trying to, time and again, to face this aspect of yourself, to assert yourself, to try to regain something that was possibly lost, this feeling that something in the past was better than what it is. That's a very common misconception. Here is 3 more cards, 3 more tarot from another deck. This is the Aquarian Tarot. We have the 7 of Rods. So you have been very defiant to keep beliefs, core beliefs that you have about yourself and your environment with you. And so in some way you have been protecting and shielding your broken heart, in the sense that you have been protecting and shielding the resistance of to believe that you can have this very specific type of family, this very specific type of relationship, and that the one that failed you or the one that didn't work out was somehow not necessarily the right one, but you could have the right one. I actually knew what this change is all about. Number one, when I saw this, I understood that it was your core beliefs that are changing. And so all three of these cards actually represent you fighting against the adjustment that you need to make with regard to your expectations. So I think love is coming for you into your life, but it may be different than what you thought it would be. Here is the next message, the Ten of Swords. So you've been setting yourself up for loss after loss because you have expectations that you either accepted or that were assigned to you. You were taught over and over by your society, your friends, your family to have certain expectations, and time and again you keep putting yourself into circumstances that break your heart because they are not in line with who you are. They're not in line with your values, and they're not in line with what's right for you. So here is your last card. We have the Ace of Cups. Beautiful. So with this card, I think that you keep on trying in a circular way to try to regain something that was never really yours in the first place. The expectations were not really yours. And if you think back to when you were a child, when you first kind of remember having these expectations, I'm pretty sure that you can have a sense that you thought that they were not aligned with who you are, but you just said it anyway because that's what someone said to you, that's what people were saying, that's what was on the television, whatever. And so I feel like concurrently this Three of Pentacles is the thing that was allowing you to go back and try again and again to regain something, to try to regain this fictitious idea of who you were supposed to be in a relationship. But now this Three of Pentacles is in some way empowering you to go forward in a new direction. Here is the next message. We have the Oracle card and we have the Soulmate card. It's coming in really strong. So I feel as though as you adjust your expectation, as that change happens for you, you are now going to apply your effort towards an outcome that will be very, very harmonious in nature. And you have the rebirth. The rebirth has happened already. So in some way you have gone through this dance one too many times and you already know what's happening. So I think that at this time what's going to change is your expectation, and as you change your expectation, a really powerful love experience is going to come into your life, a very powerful awareness of what's right in your situations. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, and let's take a look at number 2. Make sure to like and comment the video if you have liked it, and if not, then try another pile. Okay, thanks. So hi number 2, thank you for joining me and welcome to my channel. This is your reading for number 2, and let me just set these right here. Let's take a look at tarot first. So what's about to change number 2? Let's see. So we have the Four of Cups. Okay, so in some way I feel as though there has been a significant amount of boredom in your life. You have in some way very much been waiting for something to come through. The things that come through are not necessarily the things that you feel like you should be getting or that you have been waiting for. You feel in some way kept from those things. And I feel as though you have a great sense of dreaming about what could be if the right thing came through. Let's take a look a little deeper. Then we have the Knight of Coins. So a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn energy, secondary transits in air. So Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I'm just trying to fix this a little bit. So secondary transits in air. Let's see if I turn this guy down. Nope. That's okay. These cards are not necessarily the easiest to match with this setup. Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising. I think somebody is going to help you to adjust expectations as well. If you watch number one, this is sort of similar to that. Whereas number one is really about your childhood expectations and the things that you have been brought up with as core values. This is really more about trying to find the perfect fit in the world around you. And somebody very simple is coming into your life. This person is very simple. They don't have a very complicated set of, they don't have a very complicated set of formulas that they abide by. I think that they have definitely they don't have a complicated, they're very simple and they're very direct, and in some way I feel as though they're bringing you down to earth. And I think that in some way they're helping you to take a look away from the pressure that you're putting on yourself, the pressure that you are putting on yourself to find that perfect fit, to find that perfect situation. I think this is, and then you have the King of Cups, a Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Rising, secondary transits in fire, Sag, Leo, or Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. So I feel as though there's someone who is going to in some way come in to question what you learn with the Knight of Pentacles. And I feel as though this person will come into your circumstances and question exactly what it is that is so important for you, or anything that is so they're going to question whether or not this is truly what you want. I think you have a predisposition to kind of go along with things that are not necessarily perfectly aligned for you. I think you go with the crowd too many times, and this has been a trigger for you. And maybe this is why you find yourself sort of, on the periphery, kind of trying to get back to what is important. Here is 3 more cards. We have the High Priestess. I think that you have been told by a psychic, or you have been told by an astrologer or a tarot card reader that something is coming in. And so I feel like in some way you are hoping that something is really coming into your life. The Three of Cups, there's a reunion. This person you know already, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn. And so I feel like this person in some way is trying to save you from expectations that are not grounded in reality. They're not reflective of what is right for you at this time. They may be right, but you're too focused. This is very much like tunnel vision, really focused on which direction you want to go without too much taking stake and looking around at what you have, seeing all the opportunities and all the beauty around you. Here is the next message. We have the Queen of Pentacles, a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, Sun, Moon, or Rising, secondary transits in water. I feel as though this could be a couple, or this could be just energies that are coming through together. Actually, I think it's the latter, in which these are both separate and yet similar energies that are trying to bring you to engage with life again. I feel as though you have turned your back on living, in terms of some of you have been living too much online, or maybe too much in your fantasies, too much in a safe space that you can create for yourself. A lot of people in the world are living like this, where they can kind of live and exist away from confronting reality. And so I feel as though the change that's coming is the Knight of Pentacles, who in some ways offering you a reunion. And I think that these are the energies that are trying to bring you back into consciousness, away from looking into the clouds, hoping that someone will come through with a perfect answer. Here is the next message. We have the Miracles. So I feel as though these people feel very isolated from you. I feel as though they feel like you have been gone for a very long time, and they're praying, whether they believe in God or however they pray, even if they're atheists, they're really hoping that to get that person back. And I think that they're hoping for you to participate in life with them again. Here is the next message. We have the transformation. So this card has to do with that transformation has already begun. Either they have been talking with their circles around this. It's not like there have been people talking about this, about you and your circumstances, but I feel as though all three people have been sort of obsessed, or that they've been sort of obsessing about reactualizing you into everyday life so you connect with what's going on, so that you're more present again. So I feel like somebody's very separate. Now, I read this as you because that's where I connected with that energy, with the sympathy of someone kind of lost. This could be also someone around you, and you can find yourself into one of these placements. And if you find yourself in one of these placements, they could be representative of you with other people. Maybe I do feel as though they could be three different people from three different groups, like one's a family member, one's a friend, another one's a classmate, something like that. But I think everybody's sort of worried about this person that's sort of head in the clouds. And I think that the changes that is coming is a miracle. The transformation has already started. Somebody's coming back in. Somebody is once again going to participate in life. So some bad habits here for number 2, but I'm very hopeful that things will turn around for the better. Now let's take a look at your next cards. Okay, so let's take a look at your first card, number 3, high threes. Welcome back to my channel. So first we have the Knight of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. Somebody's been offering their heart in a lot of different directions, really looking for like a comfortable home for their heart. They're looking for the right group, the right people, or the right circumstances, and they have been in some way reaching out to others to form bonds and make those types of connections. Next we have the 7 or the 8 of coins, which is Sun in Virgo. And so what we have is there's a lot of effort that someone is putting into being a better person and into being more successful. I feel as though whatever it is, it's a merit based. It's like really working on yourself, really working and defining yourself as a better person, having better skills, and connecting those skills to possibly emotional connections with other people and relationships. Here is your next card. We have the Ace of Rods. So I feel like the change that's coming on is that somebody is really looking for a good formula to go by, and the right people, the right feelings, the right circumstances. And so they're hoping that they're going to work it out by putting enough effort into something. They're really hoping that they will identify, the perfect formula that will spark a new beginning for them, something that they will feel motivated to pursue and motivated to go towards. Here is the next message. We have the 10 of Cups. Nice. So this is a card of loyalty. This is a card of confirmation, of understanding, and really having a lot to give to others, really having a lot in your heart to give to others. And I sense that there's this real essence of trying to find your tribe or find your situation to express love into, that's healthy and whole and good. Here is the next message. We have the Sun. Things are improving on a quick in a quick way. I feel as though there's also the opportunity to address karma from the past. Lots of transits at the time of reading, even though this is a timeless reading, are in Capricorn with the South Node. So there's this kind of ability to in some way confront and address karmic predicaments that you may have found in your life. And then we have the Moon. Wow. Okay, so a change and transformation into more subtle things. I think that on the one hand, you have this energy which is very forthright and working, practicality, putting your best energy into things. And then on the other side of things, I feel as though there's an implicit connection to the shadow side / the implicit connection to some type of truth that is behind the surface that you are currently looking for or trying to find access to. So you're trying to refine the good parts of your personality, such as, you know, work ethic, skills, those kinds of things, your relatability towards others, and those are great things. But I think the change that's about to happen is more on a spiritual / emotional level. There's going to be a profound understanding that is going to be brought out and unearthed, and I feel as though that is the missing piece, because these cards feel very like you're in a good position. And remember, I started this number 3 reading with saying, why is he so unsettled? Why is he that's what I was thinking. That's not what I said, but it was in line with what I was saying. So why is he unsettled? Why is he looking for an answer to express his love into? And I suspect that it has to do with this new thing that's coming out, a new passion, an emergence of some type of shadow identity. And when people say shadow work, they're often speaking about malefic or darker aspects of their personality. I don't think that this is it. I think with the moon here, we're talking about desires. There's a desire emerging and an unapologetic quality to saying, I want this or I want that. So I think that this is maybe very successful in your complacent role in society, whatever you do, in agreement with what people expect of you and what they want from you. But here I feel as though what is emerging is the thing you've been denying yourself, and the thing that you are not allowing yourself to have on emotional level that is coming through. Let's take a look at some oracle cards. Hopefully they'll tie this in. It's a blessing. Ooh, okay, so that's great, because that really helps us make sense of the moon, in the sense that it really says that it's a peaceful thing. It's not like you will suddenly have some kind of really dark secret to contend with. I think that as you perfect who you are, I think a deeper truth is emerging, and I think that that is the blessing in and of itself, the authenticity. Here is the next message. So we have gratitude. So I think that you're experiencing this because, I'll leave it down here, you're experiencing this because you had in some way expressed gratitude for what you have, and the connection happened between having what you have and finding gratitude for what you have, no matter where you're at, even if you have been experiencing some minor challenges or setbacks, or if you had kind of some problems, minor problems, or even significant ones, you had in some way made the connection of gratitude and feeling like you need to nurture and care for what you have, which really set you up for a deeper understanding and a bravery to ask for more. Like, I want more of what I desire. I want more of what's in my heart. This is the 4th house, right? And so 4th house in astrology and the 12th house in tarot. So it's like the deep psychologies, the merging of what you want. So get ready to confront that. That is the change. There you go. Okay, so thanks, number 3s. I told you guys, if you guys pick 3 with me, it's always going to be a wild ride. Okay, so let's take a look at number 4s. Hi, Forrest. Thanks for joining me. And whoever did the time caps, thank you so much for helping. I really appreciate your time. Okay, so let's take a look at your cards. Your first card is the 5 of coins. So financial problems, huh? Financial problems, not having enough people who are helpful to you in a bigger way. Or if you, let's say you're carrying heavy bags, you always feel like nobody's there to help you carry them. When you need that physical extra effort that is given to you, there's this level of being shortchanged. I feel like this has to do with your childhood. I feel like this has to do with some expectation that either a parent or a teacher set for you and reinforced over and over again, so that you in some way thought that that was a healthy expectation to have in your life, to be, and although that was maybe done in order to protect you, so that you would be self-reliant, I think in some ways it went too far. In some ways it got to the level of you feeling if you needed something, there wouldn't be help for it. And so it plays out in your life again and again, thinking whenever you need something, it's even minor things. You know, if you need someone to open your door, that's when they walk through and they don't open it. There's just little cues about this all over in your life, and this is changing. Here is the next message. So we have the Chariot, which is the card of Cancer. So for me, this is one of the most healing cards in terms of change, because it says that you've made peace with something and something is really coming into closure. Sorry, the Virgo in me is getting really triggered by these cards all over the place. Sorry. I'm a Leo Virgo. You guys can see it's not perfect. Anyway, so we have the Five of Coins in the Chariot. In some way, you have on an emotional level come to terms with that. On an emotional level, you have in some way really found closure, and you have found closure, and you have found kind of healing, and that closure slash healing has in some way allowed you to transform and allowed you to kind of break off some of the attachments that you have to this idea. So you've even seen yourself believing that, hey, this person's not opening the door because I expect this to happen to me all the time. So it just becomes like a heckling energy around me that keeps on telling me that nobody's going to help me when I need $5, when I need this or that, when my tire's broken, whatever it is. And so I feel like there's this kind of smile that you are showing to yourself, and you're finding forgiveness in your heart to that experience. We have the Six of Swords is moving forward. It's time to let go of that attachment. This is a beautiful change. This is probably the most explicit change out of all the four options. If it doesn't resonate, go switch and watch another one. But I feel as though, yeah, real peace in your heart, and really in some way coming to terms with that. That doesn't mean that you necessarily have a problem with the way you were raised or anything like that. In some way, you just have found that understanding, and now you are moving on from choppy waters to more smooth waters. That includes like no longer experiencing the repetition of limitations because there's not going to be people of support for you. Here is the next message. We have the Four of Swords. So I feel as though this is a time of rest, and I feel as though this is a time that has to do with in some way your mind is resting, your mind is forgiving itself and allowing itself to in some way no longer attached to the expectation that something will happen. It was almost like you had even anxiety or even kind of like a paranoia that this was going to happen. And for whatever reason, an event happens that kind of clarifies it and you're free. Here is the next message. We have the Nine of Rods. And so I feel as though you spend some time alone, definitely, in some way to come to terms with the change that's happening. Remember, these are all like you alone figuring it out. This does not necessarily, there could be an event in which someone does help you, whatever that trigger is, or someone doesn't help you, and you say to yourself, well, that doesn't have anything to do with my narrative or my neuropathology. That person was just a jerk. So whatever the trigger is, positive or negative, it's going to trigger you to think about how that works and how that applies to your life, and in some way you are going to come to terms with that and overcome it. Your next card is the Two of Pentacles. Kind of a good card for this reading because it's like you're going to start figuring out how to do it on your own regardless of things being up or down, and so you become more self-sufficient, more independent, and no longer kind of looking to the outside for help. So when it comes, that's great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And you come to terms with more autonomy in your relationships with others around financial things and around physical things in general. So you have the emergence, yes, the independent being, emergence of yourself from being shackled to the expectation that you're defined by whether or not someone helps you, and defined by how much someone helps you. When someone helps you, sometimes you become trapped to that help. You know, oftentimes it's not picture perfect. So in some way, when someone helps you, like if somebody gives you a ride, you can't set the music in the car. You have to listen to their music. So it's like in some way you're becoming more independent because you are no longer resonating so deeply with needing that help. And if that, and I'm guessing that if your need for help comes up, you will have much fewer examples of people not helping you because you have in some way reconciled and come to terms with that fear or that feeling. Here is your card, a passion. Maybe a passion towards something else in which somebody's help is not necessary. Maybe there's this connection that, you know, groups do better than individuals, or, you know, whatnot. And so I think that maybe you have teetered back and forth about this. On the one hand, maybe you had felt that without others you couldn't be successful, and gone into extremes and experienced both aspects of doing it on your own and doing it with others. But I think that now it's not even about that. You're not even concerned about whether someone's there or not. If someone's great, they're great. If they're not there, that's okay too, because I think that you have a certain level of confidence that where you are going and how you are emerging and what you are trying to achieve, even if it takes a little bit more effort, you will be fine. Okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful year, month, day, whatever. Make sure to comment and like on the video, and check out my other videos on the Pick a Card playlist. Talk to you later. Bye.